And welcome everyone to episode 13 of Otaco Time. I'm joined again by my constant co-host Northall and Conchitas. We're finally back after a little bit of a hiatus. It's been a couple crazy weeks for I think everyone involved. I know
Yeah.
I've been pretty busy with like house renovations and starting to move stuff into a new place. What about you guys? How you guys been? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
Yep.
I'm good. It's just I've been I did some traveling the past couple weeks. Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, I think, for Halloween.
Oh yeah, it's also
And then
Halloween a couple weeks ago.
it was Halloween
Forgot
a couple
about
weeks
that.
ago. Yeah, we had that Squid Games party. Hey.
Yeah,
It was
Northall
really
wasn't
fun.
there. What the
Northall
heck?
wasn't
Yeah, no,
there.
I wasn't.
That's it was sad. It was pretty fun. So yeah, my sister-in-law had a Squid Game party, and me and Conchitas went. It was really fun. We played the Squid Game. Well, Conchita, you play Squid Games. I was a guard.
You were a guard, so
I
you
was a
were killing
triangle
it.
man, so I was shooting shots at people.
Yeah, it was
So that was pretty fun.
good. It was funny. So we started with red light, green light, and no one died. Because it's red light, green light, like
Yeah,
any
it's pretty easy.
simple
Well,
child
one
should.
person died. I think like some cow. Some dude dressed as a cow
Oh,
died.
I feel like way more people should have died.
I know I agree with you because there's a lot of people moving afterwards, and
Moving.
I'm like I wanted to shoot them, but
You should
they
have.
but I think frontman, who was producer San, and the square guard, who's my superior, were like, no, they're okay. I'm like, all
They're
right, fine.
okay.
I guess.
So then nobody died. Like one person died, and then we played the Dalgona game, the little the shave cutout game,
yeah.
and then everybody died. And then
Oh yeah.
they were like, crap, we need more people for the next game. Like too many people got eliminated. So they actually brought me back. But I didn't win the Squid Games, but we had a marbles contest and I won the marbles contest. And that was pretty dope. I must have just been in the zone or something, but like I was just tossing them little marbles in the holes, like left and right.
Oh, you were
Like it
playing
was just good.
the whole one.
Yeah, that one was my game. Like the odd or even, I feel like it's just chance, right? Like there's not too much strat. I guess it's more
It's
like poker phase.
it's a 50-50
Yep.
every time.
Yeah, and then the wall one, I guess is cool, but I think it's over too fast, I guess. And then, but the ones in the like where you're trying to get the marble into a little hole, like that one was really good. And so yeah, I won that, and I got a little piggy with like $10.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. There's prizes involved, and there's the little piggy. I thought the little piggy bank was really cute.
It was cute, yeah.
And there's actually like a variety of stuff. There was a costume contest. I didn't realize that was gonna happen. That was kind of rigged. If I
Mhm.
would, if I do say so myself, because I rigged it myself. So like it was based off Cheers, and I had like a little group of people, and we were just vibing, you know. And so anytime we were just like we just kind of huddled together, and we're like, all right, we're gonna vote for this person. They're the best one, clearly, and we're gonna be the loudest, so they're gonna win. Um, and we just started screaming every time our person showed up. Thing is weird though, we weren't like cheering. We were saying "oh yeah."
Oh yeah. Oh
We were just
yeah.
being "oh
Oh
yeah."
yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
We're
I
little.
don't know what
We're
that is.
you just if you know, you know.
If you know, you know, I
If
guess.
you know, you know. But yeah, I feel like that was rigged, and maybe I should have just abstained from cheering so much. But you know, it was still a good time.
I wasn't mad because they cheered for my partner, so he won.
Yeah, yeah, he
So
won.
we
He won
brought
his own
home
little piggy bank.
we brought home two piggies.
Nice, nice. What about you, Northall? What you been up to?
Yeah,
You
what you
missed
been
out
up
on the
to?
party, so
You know,
hope you were doing something
I
good.
no, I didn't do anything really good. Well, I live in an apartment complex,
Mm-hmm.
so I bought candy just in case, and there was no kids that came by, and I know there's kids
Oh.
around because like they always want to like pet our dog, like when
Mhm.
walking him.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I know there's kids around. But I'm not letting this candy go to waste, so I just freaking ate it.
I just ate all the
You
candy.
just
Yeah.
went to town on that candy.
Yeah, I was like, oh, my sister used to steal my candy.
She had a little revelation there. What kind of candy did you get? Did you choose? Did you purposely choose candy you liked just in case of
Yeah.
the possibility that no one would come by to get it?
Yeah, I
Uh,
sure did.
What's your candy of choice? Yeah, what'd you choose?
So the bag that we had, Mies got it, and so that had uh, two candies of choice are peanut butter cups and Snickers.
mm,
So
Solid choices. Solid
yeah,
choice.
so I
I
was
love
like, yeah,
Reese's.
you could have the rest. I told her I was like, but then I ended up eating a lot of the rest.
You can have the rest, but there's a good chance I'm gonna eat all of it.
Yeah,
I mean, hey man, you know they say that the day after Halloween is its own holiday because the candy's half off.
yeah,
And, you know, some people just they wait specifically for November 1st in order to stock up on that candy.
I wanted to go. Like, I wanted to go and get some, but it didn't work out. Not this year.
Oh,
Next time.
sad.
Next time.
There's always next
yeah.
time. There's
There
gonna be
is
plenty
always
of
next time.
candy. All right, so let's get into some of these
Party
topics, shall
time.
we?
Let's
All
do
right.
it.
Who wants to start off? Who has something? I think Conchita's. Let's start off with
You want to
you.
start off with
You
me?
have like an Eternals thing, right? You want to talk about the
Yes.
Eternals?
Yes. Okay, so neither of you have watched it, right?
Nope.
No, I've
All
just
right.
been hearing a lot about it on my Twitter feed.
Okay, okay. So, like so when I first saw like the Eternals like being announced, I honestly like didn't really care for it. Like for some reason like ever since Avengers wrapped up, I've been kind of like underwhelmed by a lot of like the Marvel stuff. And I guess I just don't find it as like exciting anymore. And so yeah, when Eternals got announced, I was just kind of like, what is this hodgepodge of a cast they put together? Like, why is Angelina Jolie like next to like
What I'm
Rob
hearing
Stark
is
and
you
like
hate diversity.
no, let me get to it.
Hodgepodge.
I don't. But it was just like this is random as heck. Like I never saw Angelina Jolie like, and I'm just noticing right now she's actually not on the visual that we
No,
chose.
she's not.
Yeah,
No,
but
this is also a
I'm
very
just like
interesting visual.
it is. Yeah, and I was like,
I don't
why
know. I've
is
never seen it.
I was like, is Kumail or Kumail, right? Is Kumail gonna actually be himself as this hero? Like, I just like each of these different personalities, I just did not see like working, and so
Hmm.
I definitely had like some concerns like going into it. But honestly, I really, really enjoyed it. Like, I guess I can understand some of the criticisms, but I do feel like overall it was a really like visually like uh impressive movie. Like I'm really surprised by the amount of like locations that they filmed at, whether or not those were like real or CG. Um, it was just a really interesting like because there's like time skips in the movie as well. So like they end up going back to
Mm.
like AC, BC and stuff like that. But then they also end up like going to like different notable events. For example, like when the Spanish took over Tenochtitlan in like Mexico, they have like a scene. That's not a spoiler, is it?
I don't
No,
know.
I don't know.
I
Like,
know.
Until now,
but
if it's not a major plot point, then I'm
It's
gonna say
not,
no.
right?
okay,
I'm gonna say
okay.
no. If it's not a major plot point, then no, it's not a spoiler because that's just something that happened.
It's
So,
just like interesting though, because it's kind of like, oh, like, so supposedly they were there, and then you have, for example, like the bombing of Hiroshima, like they did a like a visit to that and stuff like that. And so like I don't want to give anything away. It's definitely a pretty like complex storyline, and at one point I did feel like there were maybe too many little things being like put out that I just didn't necessarily see being wrapped up conclusively. And I feel like so they have like these deviants, and these are like what the Eternals were made for. They were made to like defeat these deviants. Like that was like their purpose. Like they're supposed to protect the planet from these deviants or whatever. And so they introduced that as like one of the main plot points. That's not a spoiler. I'm pretty sure that that's like
Nah, that was in the trailer.
in the
Yeah.
trailer, yeah. And so they introduced that, but like the story ends up becoming more like a lot bigger than that. Um, to the point where it kind of made it seem kind of insignificant, in my opinion. So it's like they kind of introduced this villain that ended up just kind of becoming like a like kind of getting pushed to the side for like the greater story. And so I thought that was a little weird because then like the ending of that of the deviants and stuff like that was very like underwhelming, I think, compared to everything else. And so I guess like I was looking at all the criticism, and a lot of people were just saying like, oh, it's just too big, it's overwhelmed by its star power, blah blah blah. But I really really liked it, and eventually I did forget like that everybody was like, I forgot that Rob Stark was Rob Stark. I forgot that, and like like Kit Harington is in the movie as well. So then I was
Yeah.
like, what the heck is Jon Snow doing here? And like
Uh,
Rob Stark, and then one of the girls' name is Cersei, and I was like, is her name seriously Cersei? Um, and yeah, and then I don't know. So eventually I forgot about all of those little things. Like I feel like the movie was able to like um overshadow its star power, if that makes sense. Whereas like I feel like a lot of people felt like it just didn't, like it had a lot of big names, but it didn't really feel like cohesive, I guess. And I disagree. Like I kind of feel like it, yeah, I do think it is cohesive and stuff, and like they're all kind of based on like different mythology, which I think was is really cool as well. And like they have like different powers and stuff, and so yeah, I really liked it. I didn't feel like the diversity like casting was forced either. Like I mean after a while I was just kind of like, "Oh yeah, they did really try to hit everything. They've got like all these different accents. They've got people from every single freaking continent. They have a gay black man. Like it was just but I like I wasn't, because my friend, the one that I was with, she was like, it seems like Marvel was just trying to like check all the boxes, but I didn't feel that way. Like I kind of felt like every single character was genuine. I felt like it wasn't like too cheesy or forced or anything like that. I was like, no, I like this. Like it makes sense that a movie about like a more like worldwide like setting and like a movie based on humanity would naturally have this, right? Like because we know that like humanity is different and stuff like that. And so overall I thought it was really good. I would go watch it. Just go to a matinee if you don't want to pay the full price. That's what I did. It was $6. Like, and it's definitely worth the watch for me. So I
Yeah, I'm
recommend.
I'm gonna have to check it out because I've been hearing a lot of mixed things, like
Mhm.
from people. I feel like if you're watching this movie casually, you probably won't mind it because the thing I'm seeing on my timeline, on my Twitter feed, I haven't
Yeah.
seen the movies. I can only deduce from what I've heard right now and from what I've seen on my timeline. And
Okay.
so a more casual person watching this tends to like the movie, but someone who like actively reviews movies and actually picks apart a movie for its
Yeah.
structure and everything, they
yeah.
they tended not to like it. And I follow people that I respect their opinions on. I don't necessarily agree with them 100% of the time, but I
Yeah.
respect their opinions because they have a different like view on the movie than I do. And so seeing this all go down, I'm just like, this is so interesting. Like from what I can see, like from a casual's perspective, it's a good movie from what I can tell. Because a lot of my friends watched it and they were like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, it's good. I don't see the problem with it." And then you watch, and then like a reviewer that I watch, a lot of movie reviews on, they're just like, don't watch this movie.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's because I
Okay.
hate diversity.
So you said pick it up matinee, right? Should I just wait until it comes out like on Disney Plus, or is it already out on there?
No, I feel like a lot of the action sequences are really good, and a lot of just like the visual like images that they have, I felt like were enhanced by being in the theater, having a big screen, having the surround sound, and like they have this really cool scene where they're like flying next to the sun and stuff like that, and like just all of that I thought was really really cool. Like I think if that doesn't matter to you, like then yeah, you could just wait for it to show up on Disney Plus. But I think it's worth it. I like it.
I have to wait for like a good time to go watch it. I do want to watch it in theaters. I want to support at least this type of casting because it's I think what you were saying earlier is right. You know, it's if anybody who got mad with the diversity of the cast is probably just hating. I don't know why. Like,
Yeah,
if this is a movie or a film about ancient superheroes that have been on Earth for like a long ass period of time, I'm like, I hate to break it to you, freaking John Smith or whatever, fuck. Like the white people weren't around the whole time.
or like they weren't the only ones,
Yeah, they
right?
weren't the
Like
only people, you know.
yeah, it's so
Um,
true.
like when I saw this movie and I heard what it's about, I'm like, yeah, the diversity makes sense. You're gonna
Right.
have different people from different worlds, while obviously watching like maybe their section or something like that. Um, so I feel like that's an unfound criticism. Like, if you really don't like that this is being like shoehorned into the movie, like then this is one of the movies I think that like doesn't actually shoehorn that whole diversity thing into it because it thematically and narratively it makes sense.
Yeah, and that's kind of that's what I meant about the like it's a movie about like the humanity, like about the whole world. Like and then you said it way better, but like yeah, so it like it makes sense that it wouldn't just be all white people. Like that's just
Hmm.
not the reality of the world. Like and so yeah, it was really good. I did feel like I was watching Game of Thrones at one point. Because it's like it's in London, everyone's English. I was just like, "What is this?"
I
But
don't.
no, it was good.
Yeah, people were touting this as the reuniting of Robb Stark and
And
Jon
Jon
Snow.
Snow, I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, it was pretty
How big of
funny.
a role did Kit Harington have in this movie? Because in the trailer, it doesn't look like he would have that big of a role. It felt like he was just kind of thrown in there.
So
But does he come
he
often?
no, not really. I
Okay.
I feel like he's there definitely more for like convenience, I think. But he is supposed to be like the boyfriend of Cersei, which is Gemma Chan. And so the green one. And so he comes up as like her boyfriend at the beginning, and I guess he's been with her for a while and stuff. And um but then obviously things happen and she like leaves for a little bit, and then he comes she tells him like, "Hey, go make amends with your uncle because like the world's ending or whatever." Blah, 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 blah. That's a little bit of a spoiler, but blah, 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 blah.
Oh
Anyway,
my. Well, is it? I
Huh?
think that was explained in the trailer or something like.
Well,
I don't know.
the funny thing is, I haven't even seen the trailer, so
I
Oh, so
didn't
you're
see. I
just
didn't even
completely
watch
in the
the
dark.
trailer either.
yeah. So
So,
like, I'm just looking at this
It's
and I go,
funny.
man, I
so,
don't know.
We have
so
all people on the spectrum here. We have someone who does have no idea of what the movie's about. We have someone who only watched the trailer, and we have someone who only watched the movie.
yeah, literally, I didn't watch
It's
the
funny.
trailer or anything. Um, yeah, so Kit Harington is, I think, just there to introduce Black Knight, or is it Dark Knight? Dark Knight
think it's
or Black Knight?
It's
I think it's
Black
Black
Knight.
Knight. Yeah.
Black Knight, yeah.
I
And
looked at
so
the
she tells
cast.
him that, like, hey, go make amends with your uncle. And then at the end of the movie, they're like together again. And then he's like, yeah, Cersei, I've been looking into my family lineage, and it turns out it's kind of complicated. But then she ends up leaving again, because superhero duties. And then
Yeah.
the after credit scene is him like opening the box of the blade, And
Oh,
apparently,
that's definitely a spoiler.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, but that's the after
Oh.
credit scene though.
I guess
Oh, I'm
some
sorry,
people
y'all.
some people
Oh.
even watch the movie for the movie, just
I
the
don't
after
I'm
even
credits
know what
scene.
this
sorry,
box is. I don't know
y'all.
what this blade is.
Oh
What is all this?
man. Well, that's not even
Let's
explained in the movie. That's just like the after credit scene.
all
And
right,
then we
let's
also
wrap this
hear
up.
and then we also see fucking oops, my bad, I didn't mean to cuss. Harry Styles as Thanos' brother.
Okay,
That's the
you just
last.
gave another spoiler.
Oh
That
my
wasn't
Okay,
a
moving
god.
spoiler. That's like an after
moving.
credit scene. All right, all
I,
right, all right.
some people legit just watch the movie for the after credits scene. They
Yeah.
don't even care about the
They
movie.
don't
They
even
just
care. You could literally just Google that right now, and it would be out there.
yeah,
It's
but
like
you can also Google
after
the plot of
credit
the
scene.
movie, but no one's doing that.
All right, all right, all right. My bad, my bad.
All right, okay.
Producer son, maybe you should mute me or something. All
Mute or
right.
mid sentence.
But
All
anyway,
right.
so yeah, The Eternals. Go watch it, y'all. Go support that casting. It's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Since we're on the topic of movies, I will give a quick, brief review of the My Hero World Heroes Mission movie.
Oh
Um,
That was a
yeah,
mouthful.
that
yeah,
is a mouthful.
yeah, it is. It's a terrible title. But the movie wasn't. What this isn't the movie? Oh yeah, it is. That's so weird. Doesn't look like the movie. So I saw this like a week or two ago. We also went on a Tuesday, so it was pretty random. But apparently, movies are like $5 at the theater that we went to on Tuesday, so it was just good timing. So
Nice.
My Hero,
Nice.
it's a pretty basic movie. the The premise is there is a terrorist. The heroes have to stop the terrorist. That's
That's it. Movie over.
that's the basic premise, but obviously more happens in the movie. In terms of just like the quality, I guess it was pretty well done. Animation wise, the story was super simple. Like literally, what I just said is the whole plot. There's a little bit more like there the essential like the side character that essentially becomes like one of the main characters in this movie is the guy at the top. I don't know if you guys can see him, like the beige jacket,
Yeah.
red goggles. So he's kind of like our catalyst for the plot and why things end up happening. Deku and Midoriya, he ends up getting involved with him, and then they have to essentially like run away because they've both been accused of things, and that eventually ties into the plot. But I didn't know anything about this movie. Like I didn't know the plot. I didn't watch the trailer. I just knew that it came out, and then a friend wanted to go watch it. So I'm like, yeah, let's go watch it. And I was pleasantly surprised, maybe because my expectations were lowered because I had no
Mhm.
expectations for the movie.
Yeah.
It was just like a super simple, solid movie. Like it doesn't try to create anything bigger than itself. Like the villain's motives are fairly simple. He just wants like quirks to end. He doesn't like people having
Oh.
superpowers. He thinks it leads to corruption. It's really basic, a really basic motive. And so creates this device that essentially like overloads people's superpowers, and then they eventually just like blow up.
Oh. Shit.
And so, they're trying to stop him from doing that,
From blowing up.
from blowing
Blow
up people.
people up?
Yeah, and so the plot really doesn't get more complicated than that. And it has like a pretty good, like a lot of good character moments, at least with like the introduced character in the movie, and Midoriya, Deku. My only real complaint is that none of the other characters really have anything to do. Like you see this whole range of characters,
Yeah.
Yeah. And the
and
main cast too.
and they all have like 2 minutes of screen time. So, like
Oh really?
they don't show
So
up that often.
so it's like Pokemon, like the Pokemon movies are like, oh, all the Pokemon from this generation are in the movie, but they're there for like a second.
For like a
Yeah,
second.
yeah,
Or
exactly. Like they all show up for like a couple minutes. The movie mostly focuses on Deku, Todoroki, and Bakugo. Those three actually show up fairly like frequently in the movie. And at the end of the movie, they're kind of like not I want to say like the center of the movie, but they are definitely like the main three you're going to be watching throughout this whole thing. So I guess that's good. I just feel like they maybe should have shown that a little bit more in terms of like the key visuals that I've seen, but I get it. It's My Hero. They have like a freak ton of characters that they want to show up.
Yeah.
Um, but overall, I think it's a pretty solid movie. It was definitely worth the $5 that I paid to watch it. Um, don't know if it's worth more than that. I'm going to be completely honest. But overall, it's pretty solid. It was a simple flick. Like it didn't have to be more than it is. And with anime movies, I feel like they shouldn't be like anything bigger than just like a fun side story that may or may not be canon. I think in My Hero's case, they are canon. Um, but that's it. It's solid. It's also fairly short too, so it didn't feel like that long. And the pacing's actually really good. Um, there's a lot of action and there's not that much downtime. There's like a couple minutes of downtime, then it hits into like an action sequence. And
Yeah.
then it slows down for a little bit, but after that it's just like it just
It's just
keeps
like
going and it just like it's nonstop. And I mean I liked it because I feel like anime movies sometimes get bogged down too much in the story that they're trying to make and
mm-hmm.
they spend too much time on like exposition or they spend too much time on like the villain's motives or a backstory of the villain
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
flashback.
Yeah, and they do that here. Don't get me wrong; it's not absent of that, but it's just really short and to the point. Like, this is the villain's backstory. All right, then you got the idea. Back to
All
fighting.
right, back to fighting. Yeah.
Yeah, and so overall, like, it's a pretty solid movie. Would I pay to go watch it in theaters? Maybe not. If I'm going to be completely honest.
You didn't feel like it had any like cinematic qualities? Like, did
Um,
it just feel like episodes of My Hero like mushed
No,
together?
there's definitely like some cinematic qualities to them, but it's not grand enough in my opinion to warrant watching on a big screen.
Okay. But for
Um,
$5,
but for $5, solid watch. Go, you can do it for
Yeah.
$5,
it's a
go
good
ahead.
time.
Yeah, for sure. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think if you like My Hero, which I know a bunch of people do, it's definitely worth watching.
Worth a watch. Yeah.
So that's gonna be my short little review. If I gotta give it a taco rating, I would say 3 out of 5 tacos. So that means it's worth your time. It's worth watching. It's pretty good.
It's
That's my
solid.
rating. It's a solid movie.
Solid.
It's not gonna win best picture. It's not gonna win best writing, but you're gonna have a fun time eating popcorn at this movie. Done.
Seems like
Oh,
producer son says it's worth 3.5. Oh wait, never mind.
The
He's fixing the
producer's son
tacos.
went to go watch it with me, so he maybe
oh
gets
yeah.
his
Maybe he's like, no, it's three and a
He's
half.
like,
it's at least 3.5. You're lying. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. I think this is going to be the bulk of our episode. Maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know. But so Riot Games
Yep.
finally released their anime or like their show that
The League of Legends
I
show.
feel like they've
Yeah.
always been wanting to release for like the past 5 years.
It was actually supposed to be released last year,
Oh, okay.
but due to like issues with recording and stuff and getting people in studios,
hmm
that's why it got delayed.
Okay. So Arcane is the name of the show. I was gonna say the name of the game, but it's not a
And
game.
is this like originally English, like written in English, or
Yeah,
is
I
it
believe
a dub?
so, or at
So
least Crunch or not Crunchyroll.
so the thing
Netflix
is,
has.
yeah, so it is the thing with League, they have voice actors for the game in like multiple languages.
Hmm.
So
Mm,
I'm assuming that they got the same voice actors as the voice
As
actors
the
from the
voice.
game. Yeah.
Mm.
Uh but producer Sen says no, so okay. I would hope, but
We
uh
told producer son to be here because
yeah,
he's very
he's
passionate
all into it.
about this show.
yeah, producer San loves League.
Yeah, so
Um, playing it all the time.
so
So so what do we think? It's Riot's
it,
first show. I don't think it's gonna be their last, considering it's been
no.
getting a ton of good reviews. Everyone's liking it so far. Um,
Yeah.
Northall, give me your thoughts because I know
I
you have played League. I don't
Yeah,
play League, so I'm gonna have
okay,
a more
so
unbiased opinion. I feel.
I'm probably gonna mess some of the stuff up for the descriptions, but
I'm sure
for League of
Patricia's God will
Legends,
correct
the
you.
players are seen as summoners. So they summon the characters to and you're just being like two different factions trying to, I don't know, settle a bet or something at war or something else. So you summon these characters and they have quips to each other in the actual game based on the
Mm,
lore that they set up.
okay.
So the lore so I went back and I read some of the lore and a lot of it has changed to make the show a lot more fluid.
Mm,
Uh, so there are some of the characters that you can play as. Uh, so uh, third from the left, there's Jinx, there's Vi, there's Caitlyn. Going from left to right, then there's Victor and Jace.
oh,
Uh,
so those are playable characters in the game.
yeah, so those are playable characters in the game. So
Okay.
this settles like their dynamics of uh, how they grew up or how they became to be like their characters or like so in the game like you have their quips and everything and League wrote their lore just have like a background for them, but then our Arcane they obviously twist things around to make it more accommodating for the show, um, make it a lot more fluid so that way you see all the interactions between the characters.
Mm,
uh, but it does settle with like the main characters or that they've been pushing is Jinx and Vi, who are sisters. Uh,
mhm.
and so I don't want to go too much into it because I want people to see it. So they grew up together. Some stuff happens. I'll leave it at that. And then they get
Good old
separated
stuff.
for a period of time and then they reunite. Uh, so it settles with a lot of different dynamics between like the poor and the rich. So there's like an upper level, which is Piltover, City of Progress. They're all into innovating technology, but at the same time, from my understanding from reading about the lore, a lot of the places are afraid of magic, or
Mhm,
they pretty much ban magic because it's too dangerous and no one really understands it. So with Jace, the guy second to the right, he's like the poster boy. He's like Jay's boy. And so he as when he was younger, it shows it in the beginning, he was saved by someone who used magic. And so what ends up happening, he starts since he lives in Piltover, like City of Progress, innovations and stuff, he's like, oh, how can we harness magic? Because it helped him get out of him and his mother get out of a bad situation. And
mhm,
so he wants to harness that to make things better. Uh, but obviously, you know, with the rich, there's always some type of corruption. And so he gets into that. So you see that dynamic as well. For Vi and Jinx, or her original name is Powder. I don't know if they had that in the original lore. Uh, They grew up in Zon, which is like the lower level city, which is the slums, essentially. And it's pretty much a garbage dump.
mhm,
Like all the waste from like the rivers go down to into Zon and all that stuff. And so they get into trouble when they're younger because they're rough around the edges. They're trying to make a living by like stealing and trying to trade um, items just get by.
mhm,
So that's a little bit of the background. The animation, it looks like everything is painted. It looks good.
Mm.
like don't, like just looking at it and then even seeing like the character interactions, the way they depict everything because they even have like the poro. in there,
Hmm.
super cute. I was like, oh man, I was like, that's really cool. So you get to see how everything interacts and how everyone interacts with each other.
So I would think like as a league player and like fan, then this is like very special,
Yeah,
right? Because it's like yeah, it's like when you're seeing it come to life pretty much.
yeah, and it's done
Ah.
really well too. So uh, it's not like how how people like how you mentioned with like Eternals or what Netflix typically does, where they're checking off boxes
Mhm.
down the line.
Yeah,
It looks like Riot, like Netflix just didn't have anything.
anything to do.
Yeah, anything to do, and
Yeah.
Riot just took it all for themselves.
I mean, I think that's best. I wouldn't really trust Netflix with doing anything. And Riot,
Yeah,
I feel like this is one of their
Like a baby, right?
like a baby.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like this is their baby. Like if you I never played League, but I've definitely seen a lot of like League animation and lore videos, and they've always been like super well done. And
yeah.
I know Giga specifically is just like, God damn it, Riot, just make an anime already. Like we know you want
We know you want to.
you want to. And so when this show came out, I'm like, they finally did it. They finally decided to make their anime, and it's out. So I was in going into it, I was like, the animation should be top notch because I know like Riot puts a lot of like stock into animation. And then that was like also a concern I had when the show was coming out. I'm like, is it just gonna look pretty or is
Right.
the story actually gonna be compelling? When I watched it, I thought it was pretty solid, I gotta say. I'm liking what I'm watching so far. The character interactions, like Northall was saying, are pretty like good in my opinion. I feel like everyone feels pretty natural in their relationship. Nothing really feels forced. These
Course.
characters' relationship, like they make sense to me. I can kind of like I can see why it works. I can see why they get along. I can see why they don't get along. Specifically within like Powder and Vi, I like the way their relationship developed or and how it was sort of told to us, like this kind of like sister relationship that they have and how they grew up. Um, I would say that like the animation, while it's good, there are some instances where I'm just like, this is definitely like their first anime. I can or like I don't even know if I want to call it an anime because it's not really done in the, like an anime style. It's very much like League's art style. I think I don't know.
It's
I,
well,
It's an
yeah,
animated
kind of.
series.
Yeah, it's
it's an animated series for sure.
Yeah.
yeah,
But there's things where I'm just like, oh, this legitimately looks like the 3D CGI in like a video game like God of War or like Assassin's Creed because the face looks really
Uh,
awkward. But usually that's because like they're it's like a wider shot, so you're not really paying attention to the details of the face. It's like trying to show you
okay.
like the scope around it. In those instances, I saw that there's like a little bit of like a weird face movement, and like it definitely tells like a computer generated image.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah,
but it I feel like it picks when it wants to use a big portion of their animation budget, and it I can't complain. It's like a nitpicky thing. I'm not saying like it happens so often that it's noticeable, but I saw it here and there. And I'm just being nitpicky because I'm trying to like view it kind of unbiasedly.
I'm biased. Yeah. Well, I'm
Um,
yeah,
curious about it. I definitely need to watch it. I know
yeah.
producer Son was telling me to watch it yesterday. He was like, "Do it, finish it all in one night," and I was like, "I can't."
it's like 6 hours at least that you got to
Like,
Yeah,
dedicate.
and I've been watching some other like other stuff, and so, but yeah, no, I think definitely I want to check it out. It probably won't be as meaningful to me as it is for I think a lot of the fans and stuff, but I mean, it seems like overall it's still enjoyable as like an outsider coming in.
yeah,
Yeah, as a standalone project, I think it's super solid. Like I no at no point throughout this whole thing I felt like I need to know League lore
League.
to understand what's
yeah,
happening.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's gonna be like that's usually a downfall for some shows that they try to like establish like whether it's a video game or
Mhm.
like vice versa, it's like a movie to game to movie or show. They try to write it in a way that you should have some established knowledge on it, but
Mhm.
at least Arcane, like I didn't like. I was just, and it's weird too. Like I had this thing. I'm just like, I feel like I know which characters are lead characters. Like I
Oh,
knew Jinx. I knew Jinx for sure was a lead
yeah.
character. Um, but when I was going through them, I'm just like Jace. When I saw him, I'm just like, is he in League? I swear, like that
Yeah.
sounds like a League name, Jace. Um, and he looks like he would be in League. And then Vi, I'm just like, she looks like she could be in League, but I wouldn't doubt it. They just wrote her into this story for like Jinx to have a sister.
Yeah.
But Northar, you said she is in League.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only one I didn't think was a character was you said Victor was a character.
Yeah.
Oh,
Victor's a
okay, I
character.
didn't know he was a character, so I'm interested to see what happens with him then.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Yeah,
had
I'll figure it out.
hopefully they pop it out with like the next 3 episodes. So they're releasing 3 episodes every Saturday.
Hmm.
And so they actually had an interesting thing for their release. So they premiered it, I think it was like 6 or 7 p.m. on Netflix,
Hmm.
and then they had watch parties on Twitch.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
super big.
yeah, and then it passed Squid Games, like no
Oh,
problem.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's Netflix's number one show right now, so it's a
yeah,
testament to how good it is, just like as a standalone
As a
thing.
standalone show?
yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing, it was funny too because they had streamers where they could control kind of like a Segway with like a little camera on it, like with their feed, right? And they could go around
Mm.
like the actual uh like Riot Studios where they were having their party and like go up to people and ask them questions and
Oh,
stuff.
really?
So they had
That's so
like that
weird.
full interaction too. I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
Damn. I should have been watching then.
Yeah.
I was just playing games like a degenerate. I think
Yeah.
I was planning to watch it, but then I just hopped on to play with some friends. But yeah, I knew the premiere was huge. Everyone was like watching it. There's a ton of watch parties. I know that for sure. They were doing like drops too, so you could get some free items while you were watching it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
Dang.
so they put like a lot
They
of
went all
like
out.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
with this. Yeah, no, like I said, like this is their baby. This is they want to. I feel like this is just like the start. They want to make more. Like I know they want to make more.
Yeah.
And I think the reception it's getting so far is really positive, and it's probably going to influence them to start making more content. And I'm here for it. Riot
You're like,
Games
I'm
is
not
like
mad.
a ginormous company. They have money to spend. Why
Yeah.
not make more multiple shows?
More content and stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
if they make this, right, and this was a hit, the other thing that I want to see too is like Valorant. Because
Oh yeah.
they always allude for their story, and they kind of hint at and give like little blurbs and stuff. So I want to
Yeah.
see something like that down the line too.
I feel like Valorant would be so good. I mean, same thing. I feel like every time I watch a Valorant, what's the word I'm looking for?
They have
Like
like
when
trailers too, don't they?
yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
they have like trailers. Whenever I see one for like the new act, I'm just like that they clearly already the art style works, and they clearly have like the idea of it being like an animated thing. And even maybe I'm reading too much into it, but like some of the items in the game kind of almost hint at the fact that this world is like bigger and there is sort of like a medium for it. Because there's like there's like those skins that are like a comic book, that
yeah,
has like the Valorant characters in a comic book setting or like in a comic book style.
yeah.
And then there's other like hints of that in like their player cards and stuff. So like it's all there. The thing is, I think Valorant's still so new that if they try to make a Valorant show, it's probably not going to be for like a couple of years
right,
down the line.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
They probably want to
s-
add a little bit more like lore details before they
s-
do.
Yeah.
right. So I know there's obviously shows where they're trying to do games into live action, right?
Hmm.
They're trying to they've had like anime adaptations for other stuff because they had Final Fantasy, like they had an OVA for Final Fantasy 15.
Mm.
Mhm.
Do you think that video game companies, after looking at this and them trying to stick or with the majority of their lore, at least for the background for characters, that they just go for it? Because I know like something like Overwatch, that's been out for a while. They have slew of characters. They always try to put like a whole story segment for all their stuff, but yet
Mhm.
like nothing's actually came out of it. So
That was actually a concern I had when this show came out because I'm just like, if it's good and it does really well, right? And so far
right.
it is. I feel like it would motivate other companies to release their version, like like how you're saying Overwatch. They have like a bunch of lore too there. Um, my concern was that they would just see that like, oh, fucking money eyes, print money and stuff, and they would just make a show for the money, not because like they want to have like some good piece of content media that is relevant to their world. That's like my concern. I can see like Blizzard being money hungry and be like, let's gotta release our Overwatch show, and then they release it like a year down the line, and it's just
And
not
it's crap.
good. And because they
Yeah.
rushed it, like the animation's like whatever, the story's dumb because they didn't put thought into it. Like Riot clearly thought a lot about this.
Yeah.
Um, and like I don't trust other video game companies to do the same thing. I like in in my heart I hope they do because I don't mind having more like good video game media, but it all really depends on like who's doing it and how
How
careful
it's
they're going to
being
be with
done.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it definitely will though, like how you're saying where like do I think it's going to influence other video game companies to make their own thing? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think I can guarantee you like maybe late December, early January, we're gonna get some new video game animated series announced.
I'm
I
waiting
don't
for that Animal Crossing anime. I'm
no.
just kidding.
I think
Oh,
they
They
actually
have a manga.
they had an anime at one point too, I
They
think.
have a manga. No, I'm just kidding. Imagine.
uh, Animal Crossing anime. I
Tom Nook.
I
Yeah, I could have sworn they did it years ago. Yeah, they did.
What? Oh, okay. Now
Let's
I have to
see.
go
It
watch it.
looks like it was a movie.
okay,
Oh,
that would make
not the same.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Arcane is definitely gonna kick off like this whole new wave of video game animated shows at the very least. And and if it does, and I'm pretty sure it will, I just hope that studios or companies just take the time to actually flesh out and create a compelling story and have decent animation. I'm not asking for like amazing quality.
Yeah.
I just don't I like it's the same thing with like live action, right? There hasn't been a good one and they have a bad rap because there hasn't been a good one, you know? And
Yeah.
it would be sad if like Arcane was the only good video game animated show
Oh, yeah,
and
that would be depressing.
because the rest of the ones that came out were just bad, you know?
Yeah, I mean the Dota
Yeah.
one was actually pretty decent.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just
Dota
don't think it
1.
was as popular, but like I felt like that one. And then we have like Castlevania. That one's really, really good.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if
Yeah.
you would consider that one like a video game.
No, they definitely
It
are. I
is,
think
Yeah,
right?
they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that my concern is like a studio like
Like
Square,
Blizzard.
Square
Or
Enix or Blizzard, yeah, coming out and
yeah,
be
it's
like, we're
true.
gonna make a Final Fantasy animated show, and then they just shit the bed because they just wanted a cash grab.
Yeah.
Totally.
But Arcane's pretty solid. I thought of this when I was watching the show, but I kind of don't like, and it makes sense because I'm sure Vi is a character from a long time ago, but she is like the strong woman starter pack. You know what I mean?
Uh,
She's like she's not manly, but she's definitely like more tomboyish. She has bandages on her arm to show that she's a fighter, and she has that haircut with like the shaved side. And I'm just like, really, like could have done a little bit better
Oh,
with this design.
that's how her character design is in the game too.
Yeah, and when you said
Is-
that, like it makes sense because her character probably came out a while ago. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, it was during that time where that kind of thing wasn't so prevalent. So I can see why that happens now. But I was just like, really? This kind of seems like a lazy design. I'm not gonna lie.
That's funny.
But overall, everything is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess do we want to simp for Komi-san for a little bit?
I mean, I feel like
All right.
we need to have our weekly like 2-minute Komi simp.
Komi simp.
Tell me
All right.
something. Oh, you want to jump into that? I was like,
Oh, Scissor
Um,
7. Did you want to talk about it? I mean, we're kind of running a little long. We're at the
a little.
52-minute mark now. So I don't know where we want to like start branching off to other things.
I could take like a minute just to talk about it,
All right.
but
All right.
we're going to Komi-san. Leave it at Komi-san. Don't change it, producer side. I'll talk about the other stuff at the end. So,
All right. So what
Komi-san.
episode is out for Komi-san? Is it 4 on Netflix?
It's 4 on
Or-
Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you
Komi-san's so good.
It's really good. I did so like earlier I was like I'm having feelings about Netflix animes. And like with Komi,
Mm.
I love Komi so much, but like a couple weeks ago I couldn't help myself and I went to a website and I found the show and I watched like the 2 episodes that are out now, like kind of illegally, I guess.
All right.
I did no such
Admitting
thing.
to a crime.
It's
Yeah,
just
All right.
right.
Fine.
oh
No,
crap.
I don't know.
I
It's not
did not
allowed. That's for sure.
I did
You
not visit
watched
that
over
website.
someone's shoulder. Yeah.
I watched over someone's shoulder as they went on the illegal website. It wasn't even an illegal website, it was YouTube. But anyway, the subs on this like fan like recording or whatever were so much better than Netflix that I didn't even mind like the lower quality and stuff like that because it was just so much better. And like so I just stopped watching it on Netflix. I'm just like not watching it on Netflix anymore. Like I'm just finding it on YouTube cuz like it's a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah.
You're
Like
not a
Yeah.
week behind anymore,
For
huh?
I
any of
mean,
you watching, YouTube has every episode for some
YouTube
reason with
and they're
really good subtitles.
with really good subtitles. And so it like just got me kind of not concerned, but I don't know, like Netflix is sort of becoming like a hub now for anime, and a lot of things are getting announced like on anime or sorry on Netflix, and does did Attack on Titan get announced for Netflix?
No, I don't think
No,
No.
so.
something big did. I can't remember what it was. I need to remember what it was, but um or I know like JoJo was announced for
Yeah,
Netflix,
JoJo. It
right?
might have been
Yeah,
JoJo.
it might have been JoJo. But I guess it just like I'm like concerned because I just kind of feel like they need to really like step it up with their translations. And I don't know if or just like the subs because I don't know if it's like a staff shortage. I don't know if it's just like they don't have as many people. I'm assuming they're just not putting those resources there. But I do kind of feel like it affects the viewing, especially like if we're just watching it like subbed, like it affects my experience or like my enjoyment of the show. And so I didn't like realize how much it did until I was watching Komi on YouTube and then I was like, this is so much better. And then I was like, screw Netflix and their crappy translations.
Yeah,
So I don't
I
know.
think you just get more out of the fan subs because they subtitle everything. Like any little block of Japanese text that shows up, it's subtitled. You know exactly what it is,
But
and
I
it
and then
just
it's
keeps
like in
doing it.
Komi, in Comey, those things like add to it though. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like in
exactly.
Comey, like all the little like side things just really add to the show, and so that's why like I was so disappointed where with when so much of it was like left off, and so yeah, I don't know. I've been having feelings about animes being on Netflix because
Netflix.
I'm just kind of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they just don't do a good job. Like,
It
and
was
I feel like I miss a lot.
yeah. It was pretty I decided to pull up my Google Translate for some of the text boxes just to
Oh,
see if it would
really?
pick it up
Mm,
with the camera. But since it gives a literal translation, it's not the colloquial translation.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
It's just like some of the stuff doesn't make sense, so I am like crap.
mm,
I need I kind I try to I like try to based on the translation, I get it and like try to reference it myself, but otherwise the joke's already over at that point.
mm.
Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah.
extra. So I do,
Yeah.
however, the Yandere chick.
Yeah, my.
That was a creepy episode. I felt scared.
So her name is a play on words as well, and hers means like lovesick, right? Or like sick love.
Dick love specifically. Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
oh man. I can't I
yeah, right.
could
She's pretty disgusting. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
I don't know if it was conveyed the same way in the manga because I haven't read the manga.
oh, 100%.
I think like
But
when I was remembering it, in the manga it felt way more comedic to me.
In the
And
show, it was a little creepier, huh?
in the show
yeah,
it
the
was
show was
legitimately creepy.
creepy. I
I'm
was
like,
like,
laughing at the same parts as I was in the manga. uh, I think it's a good thing though. I'm glad that they were able to almost
oh,
reinvent the panels to be its own thing. And I think that's a testament to like the directing and the animation too. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was super creepy. Um, I still like it was funny. It's still funny. It's just it had an element of eeriness to it
Yeah.
that wasn't founded when I was reading the manga.
so
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
How are you guys
She's
feeling about the characters so far? What were you gonna say, Conchito?
no, nothing.
characters
I
so far,
forgot.
pretty good. It's funny. I like it.
Characters are
It
good.
some of the I really understand why they say they're eccentrics now in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
Uh because they are pretty much to the extreme.
They all are. Yeah, and they're all just like such like I think that's what I love so much about the show is like how everyone's names is a play on words and like it's not hiding anything from you. Like it's telling you straight up like who they are as characters, like even just within the name. And
Yeah,
I don't know, I just find it really funny. Like
I could
it's
see
just
that.
hilarious.
The one thing is, I don't know if they do it on the fan subs, but I remember seeing some old ones way back in the day. Uh, they used to translate the names sometimes so you would understand the joke,
uh,
and they would put that as like subtext or like flavor text on the side.
Mm.
So me hearing their
I think they
names,
did.
it's just a Japanese name to me. I'm just okay. I go, all right. Um, yeah, I would have to actually
It's like when you start looking
translate the
into
names.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to like look into it and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can't recall if the fan subs or anything had a explanation for their name,
I don't think it did.
Well,
No, not
but
that I know of.
the characters so far, I'm enjoying them. They are better than what I remember in the manga. I really like Najimi's character.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know producer Sen also loves Najimi. Um, it's just they're just they're just a really well done character. Because I felt like in the manga, I was having like a better idea of whether or not they were a boy or a girl. but in the anime, I just have no idea. Like the voice even is like I can't even tell half the time if like it's a boy or a girl. And I mean, I guess
Yeah,
that's to their character. There's like a gender fluid character, so they just fit both almost. Seems like, and they're also just a really funny character. And Najimi is a great character in the manga too.
I do love.
And they're doing them justice in the show. So
Yeah.
watch out for Najimi. I did want to rant really quickly about Komi-san because
Oh my gosh.
been seeing some Komi slander on
Oh,
the internet,
yeah.
and it annoys me because
Is
it
it about Najimi?
No.
no.
Oh, okay.
It's a couple things. I kind of already told Northall like a little bit a while ago, but all the like I see the show getting like I don't want to say hate, but they're definitely just grouping it up into other shows that I just don't feel like it belongs to at all. So and they just I feel like they're just generalizing it, and I can tell that people who make these like jokes or talk about it clearly have not seen the show or read the manga. Because if you read it or even watched one episode, you would understand that it's not like those animes. So I remember. So one thing I heard was just like, "Oh, Komi-san, another anime about a quirky, clumsy girl, haha," and everyone simps over her. I'm just like, no, like she's quirky for
Wait,
sure.
I heard that too, and I was like, that's not what that's about.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, yeah, she's quirky, but the fact is like that's the main like motivation drive of the show, but it's more than just like that. It's about like, her making friends and her trying to like actually overcome her like quirk or flaw or whatever. And it's just way more than that. And she's also not clumsy. The show doesn't She's very
Yeah,
demonstrates that
she's
she is
not.
Yeah.
incredibly athletic and she has like the capacity to essentially do anything at a high level. And so that kind of annoyed me. I'm just like, okay, you clearly didn't watch the show. You just probably saw like a trailer and just made the assumption. And then other people were just like, another lonely guy anime, another anime for like lonely dudes, where a girl just like picks on a dude and you
Yeah.
know what type of
Like
anime I'm talking about?
Nagatoro.
Like
Like
Nagatoro.
Nagatoro? That's
Yeah,
not like it at all.
exactly.
What the
Grouping
heck?
They were just like another anime for lonely guys to feel like a girl will talk to them. I'm just like, oh, you legitimately did not watch the show because she doesn't talk to him. He talks to her. He's a bigger Chad than you. I'm sorry. He was like he
They are
actually menaced.
disrespecting the
Yeah,
Komi name.
they were, and I'm just like, if you watch literally the first episode, you would know that she doesn't pick on him because she's literally too socially awkward to do that. He doesn't even pick on her. He's just like, hey, like I noticed you can't talk. Can
Yeah. Help
How's
you
that?
Wanna be
out.
friends?
Yeah.
Let me help you out. And I'm just like, that's way more than any of like these lonely guy animes ever do because in those shows, it's always the girl approaching the guy and like
It is.
teasing them. And this is just not that show at all. And like it's not even like a romance either, which those shows are usually like heavily implying that the girl usually often likes the dude. And here there's like no romance. It's fairly mutual and it's like what's the word I'm looking for? Platonic, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Like there's like in these first couple episodes there's no hint of like, oh, Tadano's trying to be nice to her because he wants to
Because he
get
likes
at her
her.
and likes her
Right.
or anything like I mean, if you want to talk about romance, Akari in your mind love Komi-san more than Tadano at this moment. They're always trying to simp on her. But it annoyed me that like clearly, yeah, you didn't see the show. That's not what the show is about. It's not about like a girl finds a lonely guy and decides to befriend him and that's it. It's just not about that. And it's the guy is actually the first one to make a move, which is honestly also pretty rare in an anime. It's usually like a strong-willed girl who makes a move on the guy, and then the guy is just kind of stuck there. And it just annoyed me seeing that it was getting grouped up into like these. I don't want to say like generic animes because I like Nagatoro. I like Nagatoro.
Yeah.
And I like
Yeah.
other shows like it. It's because they're comedic based. But this one is just way more wholesome, and it really feels like every character has very like what's the word I'm looking for? Like mutual feelings for each other. Like there's no hiding anything really. All these like these characters and what
Yeah.
they think and what they feel like. And I like that because it just it's very upfront about what it is, kind of like what we've been saying. Whereas in the other ones, it's like, yeah, it's like a tsundere is just constantly picking on someone and stuff like that. And I don't know. I just got
I think
annoyed
it's like
seeing.
it pokes fun at itself as well. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think that's what I really like too. Like it knows what it's doing and stuff like that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, compared to all these lonely guy animes, like the main boy character in those animes, like compared to Tadano's like Giga Chad compared to all of them.
He is.
And so I'm
Let's be
just,
real.
yeah, let's be real. He's a
He is
Chad.
a Chad.
And so that's gonna be the end of my little rant. I hate that it's being like just generalized into these other animes by people who have not watched even one episode, because I think like Komi-san is definitely,
I just like
in my
how it's
opinion,
like
leagues above better than those.
it's just like it is kind of like the how dare they disrespect Komi-san, like the same way that all the characters in the
On the
show, yeah,
yeah.
how dare you speak her name, like
Yeah.
trash.
Damn, the power that Komi-san has.
For real, dude.
It seeps into real life.
We must protect Komi at all costs.
Yeah. So that ends my rant. I just,
Yeah.
it really annoyed me and I just had to get it off my chest.
Komi's great, y'all. Go
Yeah.
watch it. Like, watch it if you haven't. What are you waiting for? Go watch it.
Okay.
After this.
We are an hour and 8 minutes into the episode. Do we want to continue or should we just call it wraps?
We should just I feel like we should just wrap.
Yeah, let me
Yeah,
just
Northall, you
take a
want to hit
couple
anything else?
minutes.
All right.
Talk about some recommendations really quick. All right. So the first one, speaking of terrible subtitles that don't match or are off everywhere with Netflix, there's Scissor 7.
Okay, okay.
So Scissor 7, I had a love-hate relationship with this show. I liked and enjoyed the premise of it, but the way that things led up, it just felt slightly slow. Like they could have, I don't know, compressed it a little bit more.
What's the premise of the show?
So the premise, guy has amnesia. The guy in the
Okay.
middle, his name is Seven. Now he gets picked up by, he gets found on the beach by a blue chicken who could talk. He's sentient.
All right.
He's not.
Okay.
I'm liking this
He's
so
not.
far.
Yeah, he's not depicted in here.
Is it that little
Oh,
tiny blue chicken?
it's not the little blue chicken?
Actually, it's the one on the left, the
The
one
one
with
with
the
the
glasses.
cigarette?
Oh, the
Yeah. So he's
Oh
like
my
super hard,
god.
like he's super hard and everything. And then the one on the right is his little escape chicken that he has. So if you notice, they all have the same hairstyle. Uh,
Oh, yeah, they do.
so it's funny in the sense that it kind of reminds me, which I don't know if you guys see, it's panty and stocking with garter belt.
I've seen a
Mm-hmm.
couple episodes. Yeah.
Okay, so the English adaptation for that, or the English dub for that show, they were a lot more liberal with what they said, swearing, references, just to make it more relevant. They did that in this show as well. So, which was pretty entertaining. Uh, and so, just to go more into the premise, he has amnesia, picked up by that blue chicken. And so he has him work to repay his debt because he took him to the surgeon by cooking food for him at like a food stand. And then the chicken goes, hey, since there's like three different factions, there's the island that they're on, and then there's two other nations that they focus on. Assassins are a regular thing. So
Mhm.
he's just like, hey, why don't you become an assassin and then we could make a ton of money? And he
Okay.
has it, and he has
Course.
it, yeah, and he has amnesia, so he doesn't remember anything. So he's like, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll go ahead and do it. And that's pretty much how it leads up, and he slowly tries to get his memories back. Which, that's him in the center, and it is a bit of a spoiler, but it's already here on that poster. It's the guy in the purple. That's
That's
him.
him too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I
I was like,
figured.
that looks a lot like
yeah,
him.
that's
Yeah.
literally him. So
Ah,
the other antagonists are in the background. It's pretty funny. It's liberal with what they say, and
So
it's also very liberal with the animation.
so
The
there it's very watch a dub, not sub.
Yeah, watch a dub,
Okay.
not sub.
Okay.
So you see how the line art is very nice here.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know, producer said, do you have that other image that was on the cut sheet where it says Scissor 7 image? It's towards the bottom. I could post it for you. Yeah, Jeffrey, can you share it?
I guess I can share it. I
There
guess
you
I'm
go.
doing that.
All right.
Yay.
Okay.
Okay, put this on that.
So the fight scenes, super well done. Everything's done really well. But then you have these one-off areas where they're trying to make a joke and the animation goes to crap, but it does it on purpose, so it looks like
Okay,
crayons.
I see.
And so if you look at the image or you pull it up,
Yeah,
you'll
I have it
see
pulled
it.
up right now.
So I posted in the pod. I don't know if you can pull it up,
It
but
turns into crayons?
it looks like it's crayons. No, not that one.
No, not
No,
that
that
one.
one's really good. I
Yeah,
was
that
like,
does not
Yeah,
look
that's
like
like that
crayons.
like you see that. You
I'm
see the
like, oh
splash art.
dang, that's busted.
All right,
Alright,
I'm
let's
just gonna share my screen then. Let me see.
You're gonna see the derpiest image right
Um,
now.
hold up. I'm actually just open the original. Yep.
All right. So it's pretty good. It looks like they're ending it
All
on
right.
this next item, which is just like their fourth. Instead of doing a fourth season, they're doing a movie to wrap it up.
Okay. Oh, so there's a couple seasons already out of it.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh.
So it cuts to stuff like that, and the animation just it's just done on purpose, really crappy. He's always laughing and having like a little snarky laugh. He's like, like and there he's like right there. He's in a situation where he's just surrounded by women. He's like, hey, hey, hey,
Surrounded by a lot of
all these
hot
beautiful
chicks.
women, and
And
his
he's all
shoulders like
red.
go up, and he looks all creepy.
That's pretty
So,
funny.
I like that.
yeah, and it's a Chinese anime,
Oh,
so a little
interesting.
Oh,
different. So I would say you could try to watch it. It's not for everyone. It is good, but if you don't like it, I ain't gonna hate you for it.
all right.
I won't be mad.
I might give it a shot. Especially, you said like the dub is pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, this might be one
Well,
that I just kind of watch while I'm like doing something else.
yeah. I mean, like pretty good, as in it makes things funny.
Got
Because if
it.
you look at the subtitles,
It's like bad.
some of the
Yeah,
scenes are like completely different.
yeah,
They don't
and
even match at all.
that's just because Netflix doesn't bother to actually subtitle the English translation or the English
Well,
audio. They usually
well,
just leave it whatever like the original English subtitles are, and it just doesn't match up with.
yeah, yeah. So one scene, for example, he calls one of the other characters calls the guy uh, a nerd because he got his body augmented. So
Mhm.
he's like, "Oh yeah, you're just like one of those pay to win players in games."
Oh.
And I forgot what he said in the English dub, but he just pretty much just called him a nerd for getting upgraded or whatever. But there was some swearing involved with it. So,
Got it. Got
so
it.
there's differences uh, in that aspect. And then let me switch really quick. Last show that I want to talk about, it did come out last year. It's called BNA, Brand New Animal. I don't
Mhm.
even think they say Brand New Animal until the end of the show, like at the last title card. So it is a Studio Trigger show.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Uh, I I don't understand why I missed this. I think it was just because it was exclusive to Netflix, so it wasn't advertised everywhere. I did
Mhm.
remember when it first came out that it was advertised, but it came out last
Yep.
year in April.
I know the furries were happy about this one.
Yeah. Uh, so the premise: humans and humanoid beastmen
Oh my
uh,
gosh.
inhabit the Earth.
Okay.
So the beastmen could turn and make themselves look human,
Mhm.
and so that's like the guy in the upper left. That's him, the wolf, and his human form.
Okay.
So
Okay.
story centers around the girl Michiru, who's in the bottom left. So you could tell it's Studio Trigger because of the freaking color palette that they use. Because it's the
Mm.
same as like Kamina and all those other ones.
Also looks
The
like
Oh,
red and
like the
blue.
Simone.
red.
Looks like
Yeah.
Simone a little bit too.
Yeah. So she wakes up and she is a Tanuki beastman. So there's an island or an area that's cut off from everyone else because humans hate beastmen for whatever reason. They just hate them because they see them as dangerous or feral, even though they're just like normal people.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so the city's called Anima City. So she goes there, she sneaks off to get there. And the whole premise is her trying to revert back to being a human. So
Okay.
the main thing is with her, since she's a Tanuki, or she turned into a beastman, and she can't turn back into her human form. So even the people in like the beastmen in Anima City, they turn into their human form like during the day, just going out and about. And they always question her.
Okay.
They're just, why are you still like that? You can't transform. And so she goes through that struggle. So she's pretty much an outcast where she was, and then somewhat of an outcast where she went to. So,
Mm.
Interesting.
so it's
So it's
good.
not a mecha? I'm just
No,
kidding.
it's not a
It
mecha.
doesn't turn into a
Surprisingly
mecha?
enough,
She doesn't turn into a mecha?
no,
I
she
feel like
doesn't
all
turn into a
Studio Trigger
mecha.
does like all
Fortunately.
mechas.
But like Gurren Lagann, it was humans against beastmen. So obviously they like to keep up
It's
with that.
it's a prequel.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
calling it right now. It's a prequel
Wow.
to no, I'm kidding. I
So
don't know.
uh I'd give it a 3 out of 5 tacos. I watched the whole thing just because I'm on strike right now against Verve because I did cancel my subscription. So I'm gonna be jumping
Mhm.
on
Mhm.
Crunchyroll again, but I am saving up some shows just to go ahead and binge.
All
So
producers saying giving 3.5. He says no,
oh god,
no.
Oh.
I need
he's
these furry
going to three and a
animators in
half.
my life. He's going rogue.
Yeah,
Why is he going rogue?
I don't know.
But yeah, Brett. Wait, did you say 3.5, North? Or you said 3?
I said 3, but three and a
Three
half's
out of
fine.
five. 3 out of 5 is what he
Three
said.
out of five.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard
Okay.
about a brand new animal, and I watched like the first episode, and I was just like, all right, this is okay, but I don't know, it just didn't grab me enough to continue watching it.
Yeah.
I might watch it just because like it is Studio Trigger, and I like a lot of their shows anyway.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
I'll take another look at it. Seems like a pretty. It's only like a couple episodes, right? Like
it's like 10 or 12 episodes at most,
yeah, it's pretty
but they go
short.
by pretty fast. Yeah, it's what they do. They're one and done pretty much.
Yeah,
I
they
can see
never
the
really have
furries like
sequels.
in this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hundred
Oh
percent. I mean,
yeah.
like,
Oh
look at that
yeah.
wolf dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
I
too
would.
good
No, I'm
looking.
just kidding.
Oh my
I'm just
god,
kidding. All right.
nasty. All right. Anything else you want to talk about, Northwold or
No.
Conchitas?
No, no, I
Ah,
think I'm good. I'm
I-
starting to feel a little queasy again. I had too much fun last night, and I'm like,
all right. I did. I kind of want to talk about the One Piece casting, but we can save that for another
let's save
episode.
that for next week. Yeah,
Yeah, we need to space out our content.
we need to
So,
find out where these people are from and all this stuff about the telenovelas.
Yeah.
100%. All right. So I think that's going to be it from us. Going to wrap up the episode. If you've been watching this whole time, thank you for sticking around with us. Bit of a longer episode than usual.
Thank you.
Like always, we thought it was going to be a shorter episode, but it wasn't. You can always catch us live whenever, Sunday at some time, because we don't really have a consistent schedule. But
Yep.
follow our socials and we will post when we go live. That way you know and you don't have to wonder.
Or follow us on Twitch.
Or yeah, just follow us on here. You'll get notified when we go
Yeah.
live. It's even easier at that point. I think it's the same on all our socials. It's Otaco Time on Twitch and Twitter. You can follow any of our socials. That's cool too. You don't have to. You know, it's a free country. Do whatever you want.
Yep.
If you're watching this on YouTube and you managed to watch it all the way through, sweet, you're awesome. You're the best. You should treat yourself. Go buy that boba that you've been contemplating. Let us know down below what you think of Arcane, because I think that was the big thing we're talking about. Do
Yeah.
you like League? Do you like Arcane? Do you hate League but like Arcane? Oh,
Or
that
do
was
you
another thing
know
that I was
neither?
gonna. You know, neither. That was the other thing I was thinking about. Like, even if Arcane ends badly, I'm sure people will just like it anyway because they already play League and no one likes
Yeah.
that game, but they still play
Yeah.
it. So they're just gonna like
Oh,
it. I'm throwing a
oh.
little shade at League. But anyway, let us know what you think about Arcane down in the comments. And that's going to be it. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time.
Next.
Bye bye.
Alright.
Later.
Bye.
We wanted to run, we wanted to fall together back then.